go? I do believe we are live. So I'll say, indeed, and greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. It is a dear pleasure having you here, and thank you for joining me again. Today's stream topic is going to be about doing what's good for us, doing what is good for yourself, this unique human ability to do things that benefit our health. We can brush our teeth as a practice of hygiene. We can choose which foods we eat, practicing a healthier diet. We can move our bodies, exert ourselves, and strengthen our muscles. Even though animals can do all of these things independently, they can have their teeth brushed. They could eat food that is good for themselves, and they can run around, and that would be good for their cardiovascular health. I don't know if there are any other animals like us that do it on purpose. And then, as we're sharing today's stream topic, there's also this other side of it where you might know that there are things that you can do that are good for you, and you might not, right? I think that's pretty interesting. Today's stream topic was inspired by smoking as a concept. The fact that human beings probably have been smoking things for a very long time, and how I used to smoke things as well, and how, because with the justification of it's better for my health, I transitioned to vaporizing instead. I don't really vape per se, but I do vaporize the buds that I have. So I appreciate you, friends, for joining me. Hey, Jovan, I love you. It's a dear pleasure having you, friends, here with me, so that we may do what's good for us. I think taking a moment, spending some time with friends, is good for us as well. So yeah. Doing it because it's good for you. I hedonize because it's good for me. Does that count? I mean, with moderation, I think it can count. Right? Everything in moderation. Uh, I feel like, again, you can be a hedon, and it can be good for you in some ways. But unfortunately, your body isn't necessarily equipped to just eat as much as it wants to, when it wants to, all the time. All right. So in that way, it wouldn't be good for you. You might extract a certain level of personal satisfaction from it, but I do not know if it would be actually good for you. Would it be good for you? I am a marijuana smoker. I'm using my Dynavap right now to pack some in there. And that's one of those things that you could argue if it is or isn't good for me. Am I doing it from a hedonistic perspective? I am doing it from a perspective of seeking joy. I just watched two lizards chase each other. But I haven't smoked yet, and I can still find joy in two lizards chasing each other. Is it good for me? In so many ways, I do believe it is. But I think for the same reasons it is good for me, it might not be good for others. It calms me down a little bit. Makes me feel like my mind isn't running at a million miles an hour anymore. Gives me more time to be present. And makes me okay with whatever I am present with, I have found. This is Sativa. It doesn't have a very appealing name, unfortunately. It's called called GC. Let's call it GC. To the friends who know, they know. It's not Girl Scout cookies, unfortunately. Just just the green and the crack. Man, your friends are here. Arr, ahoy! Hey, Kristen. Duck Dad's here too with us. Bless you two friends. I tried to tell my wife we're supposed to do it because it's good for me. Doesn't work as often as you'd hope. With moderation. Fuck your moderation, yo. Moderation, Sam. Moderation is actually good for you. That is today's stream topic after all. I'm gonna add some heat. Let's see if this sativa is going to sativize. Going to lift me up or make me even more contemplative. The last time I tasted this strain and tasted like this, it was called Point Break. And I picked up this strain specifically because it had those same terpenes, and the fact that it tastes like Point Break makes me very happy. Yes, this pleases me. And if you're wondering what that's supposed to smell like or taste like, you know those very sweet smelling Sharpies, right? Or permanent markers or just markers. Those black markers. This tastes the way those fumes smell. Mercy. Thank you. And again, that might not sound very appetizing, but this is organically grown bud. So that sharp terpene profile is all natural. Right off the bat, it has shifted my whole demeanor. I went from a place of like me to that's basically the feelings, the alarms is going on in my head. It's because I'm telling your wife you attempted to know more than she does. And speaking as a wife, I don't typically allow that paradigm to establish itself. Love is true. Good luck, bro. Because it leads to other spouse making unilateral decisions because they know better or know more. I believe a relationship is like a business, right? And there are two partners to said business, and said business needs to operate. And in business, you only really succeed if you are given the chance to trust people to make unilateral decisions of their own accord. And you are especially likely to succeed if they make good decisions on their own accord. So now the real trick is just to be in a relationship with someone whose decision making you trust. Whew! That's a tall order. But it can't be done. Sam, I would think I would know more about my prostate than the women, but how the hell do I know? Yeah, you see, that's some of those decisions that you're gonna have to make for yourself. Are you trying to woman explain me? I'm sure her legs were nice and femininely crossed, like as such, right? As such, of course, while she women's playing. I hope it's clear. We're just joking. Let's not talk about my prostate. It was just a joke. Good. I'm happy that it's just a joke. I'm hoping the part that your prostate is not okay is the joke part. I was reading about a very interesting problem off the coast of South Africa. It's an island overrun by house mice, and they're eating all of the migratory birds to a detrimental level. So now South Africa is having to raise funding so that they could become exterminators at a surgical level when the birds are away for migratory purposes. Otherwise, birds might not survive. So many mice. It's a shame that we have to just exterminate them, right? It would be cool if we had like super symbiotic relationships with the animals and stuff. And we could just steer them in the right direction. Imagine having like a whole shipping container full of cats. And you feed them just enough to keep them hungry on the boat towards the island. And then they make quick work. And then they get back on the boat to go somewhere else with a rat problem. No. No. Did you see that Love, Death and Robots episode about the robots? The rat slash mice killing robots? How does this link to today's stream topic? Doing what's good for us. Doing what's good for the planet, doing what's good for our birds, populations, doesn't necessarily mean doing what's good for the mice. Alright. I think maybe that's a good perspective to actually bring into today's stream topic as well, because it is important for you to do what's good for yourself. But sometimes you will be faced with decisions that might be good for you but might not be good for others. The others that it might not be good for's voice might not be quite as loud as yours is. Being in a relationship with someone who makes decisions, making being in a relationship with someone whose decisions making you can't trust. Hubby is quite intelligent in a lot of areas, but is still dumb sometimes and requires me to clear things up just like me. We took my knowledge deficits, match yours. Let's be together and make one whole functioning human approach to coupling. And we're on 15 years together this year. Congratulations. I agree, but in that way, right, there are things that he needs to do. A lizard just came onto the stoop. Hello. Hey, dude. I'm super chill, bro. You don't have to worry about me, man. I'm pretty sure these lizards have gotten used to my existence. I'm gonna stop fantasizing about being a lizard and read words like a person. It said that little mice were actually climbing on the birds and. Jeez, bro. Why are you sharing this information, bro? Hello, little mouse. Please stop eating birds alive like The Walking Dead. Yes, please. You bust out a fractal on stream, and this is the shit you tell us about mice exceeding the reach of their grasp of the food chain. Jeez, dog. Yeah, I'm also trying to learn from this experience. What is there to be learned from this experience? Hmm. Maybe again, love is true. That people can love the birds enough to try and help them against something they don't really have any other means to. There's a big ass cucaracha chilling here. Give me one. I saw what looked like just a big black mass stuck to the bricks. Interesting indeed. Them pests might have the capacity to climb the food chain like we do, but what the fuck does that mean? I think it means you should go and watch that episode of Love, Death and Robots. I should find out what exactly the episode is called. But if you know, you know. And if you really want to see it, you can search something Love, Death and Robots episode about the rats evolving or something like that. I said it was interesting. I didn't say it was pleasant. Interesting indeed. The experience shows that no matter what we say about love being true, hungry people do hungry things. Hungry animals do hungry things. It's a critter eat critter world out there. Again, right? Love remains true in that scenario for me too. The fact that there can be any experience had at all is truth of love, right? That experiencer wants to continue experiencing despite the nature of the experience. And there is a certain fractal of what's good for your experience might not be good for the other's experience in your need of eating them, for example. But I don't think that takes away from the truth of love. In fact, again, it's an act of love to go out as a father, for example, to hunt an animal, to feed your family. Right? Sure, it doesn't always manifest that way in our day-to-day world, but you going out as a father to earn money to buy food for your family is the exact same thing. We have gotten ourselves pretty distant from the original fractal of actually taking care of our families as nomadic tribes and hunter-gatherers. But in that way, we are still trying to do what's good for us, even when we're, killing other things. And that, I think, is the paradox. It's a matter of responsibility. Right? It's a responsibility to take care of yourself, and in doing so, take care of others as well. Probably has to do with the mice not being able to swim and leave the island. There's no longer a food source capable of sustaining them, so they developed a taste for the forbidden albatross. Yeah, it's again a like nutrient density thing. It's why we as human beings, our ancestors probably did consume a lot more flesh as well as a part of our diet in becoming what we are. Right. It was good for ourselves to do so. Thinking about it from a matter of survival. And our terms of survival are changing right now. Again, I have shared this multiple times. I am 100% pro teaching bacteria, teaching some sort of microorganism how to make amino acids out of a bunch of constituents that is easy to produce on large scale, and then get all of my amino acids from that source instead of having to kill animals in order to do so. But before that exists, I still do believe that protein and fats are some of the best sources of energy that we have available to us as human beings. And the mice probably would know that too, is the point I'm making, even though it manifests in a very yikes way. During the Lewis and Clark expedition, one of the hunters and trappers recounted eating 9 to 11 pounds of buffalo every single day. That's a lot of buffalo. That is a lot of buffalo. But if you were hunters and trappers on an expedition, bro, the amount of energy you had to burn would probably require that you eat like 9 pounds of beef a day or 9 pounds of buffalo a day. I wonder how many calorics it came out to. Calories it came out to. Meat is like 4 calories per gram. So going on 9 pounds, that's 4 kilograms. So it is that times or divided by 20% because that's the amount of protein in about a kilogram of beef, which comes out to 800 grams of protein. Jeez, that's a lot of protein. And that's believing it's like pure lean beef. It would be at least 3,200 calories. So it's probably closer to 5. I wouldn't be surprised. But again, for like grown ass men trekking through forests, I can see them burning that amount of calories. Hi Mel, more lessons on eating. It does seem that way. Today's stream topic was about doing what's good for yourself, and as the nature of eating is either good or bad for you, doing what's good for you is definitely going to be a part of the conversation. All right, sounds like I've got to go gather an army of owls to declare war on an entire species. All right, Joe. I was going for the cats, but I think the owl army sounds significantly cooler. They could fly out and fly back in. A Keurig is a measure unit of poop. Thanks, South Park. Yeah, I've never seen a single episode of South Park, so I do not have any of that brain damage in my neurons. I had a handful of nuts, 2 protein bars, and water in my 15-mile hike to the mountains. Those trappers were just loving the buffalo. Bro, I mean, if I could eat, I mean, this is a lie. But if I could eat 9 pounds of buffalo a day, I try, dude. I would try. I would work out so much, and I would try. Sam, I had to Google it, and then I realized it was the most Sam description possible. Zelavi, right? Loisanna's here with us as well. And Hoopy too. Bless. Brain damage in my neurons. South Park is like Family Guy. Informative in unusual places. Yeah, no, I get that part. I do get that part. Right, it is a medium used as an apparatus for commentary. Would be my way of describing these kinds of shows. All right, then you can comment through that show, but I feel like for me, I have at least always watched something from the perspective of it having to be beautiful, right? Looking for the art in something. And I'm not saying that there's no art in South Park. I just never had the ability to see the art in it. I never was like, oh wow, this masterpiece. I need to give my time, my soul to it. No, unfortunately not. Satire has a power few other forms of media do in that they can sensationalize the bare truth. Yeah, this is true. Like Team America, right? I feel Team America is almost in the same vein of satire as South Park, but that got closer to a work of art to me because of the amount of effort they put into like the puppets and stuff. Right? Alright. So like it's I get what you're saying, Sam. I do understand. This is The Simpsons. I also never seen a single episode of The Simpsons. I've seen The Simpsons movies. I think I saw the Dome one. Yeah, I think I saw the Dome one. But that's all The Simpsons I've seen as well. Lovisara, Java, Java. So much love into you too. You like Rick and Morty, and you're shitting on South Park. I mean, like is relative, and it's like I liked. Right. I'm now 26 years old. I started watching Rick and Morty when I was 14, when I was 15. right? Like things change, kind of vibes. Things do change. I should think of South Park. South Park was crude, but it was smart. Yeah, again, I haven't seen a single episode, so I'm not shitting on South Park. What I'm saying is that it never drew me. It never drew me. It never caught my attention. That I've seen always felt very, in your words, crude. It felt crude. Felt like it was a bunch of immature children making content. All right, and I guess that's literally what all content is. But it was like the it was like at the artistic level of children as well. I'm fucking. I don't know if I'm robbing feathers. I hope not. None of us are South Park creators, and again, I've never seen an episode, so I don't really have anything to judge other than it didn't draw me. Of course, I've seen memes and snippets, on the internet, but never sat down for a full episode by my own volition kind of vibes. Team America is almost in the same vein as South Park. Team America was created by Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the literal creators of South Park. I didn't know that, Sam. And the fact that my mind's infrastructure had them like match to match feels very right. You see, I get it. I get it. But again, right, I'm not like looking forward to Team America 2 and Team America 3 and then Team America 4, right? Like Team America just existing as a thing and having seen that and knowing the ridiculousness of that satire, I appreciate it existing. But it's like a picture. You want to see that picture, and then you want to look at other pictures or whatever. The 100th episode would be a good one to show in the melting space together. I wish I had access to it. There is a newer animated series called The Great North. I really like it. Voices are Nick Offerman, Will Ford. The Great North. Thank you for telling me about newer ones. The Great North. I'm gonna try and remember that because we do have an appetite. The Simpsons movie was the worst part of The Simpsons, but it's also not a surprise. You never got into that stuff because it was very much American centric, as well as South Park. Yeah, it's true. This is true. And a lot of you friends probably grew up with this stuff on your like cable television or whatever as well, right? We didn't have cable television as a kid growing up. I did get internet by the age of 8, which you can think about what you will, and you would be right in thinking those things. But my dad believed that internet was a more useful resource than cable internet, and it was comparable in price. You would pay about $10 a month more to have internet versus what you would pay to have cable TV. All right, so for me it was and continues to be acceptable, a no-brainer really, to have internet instead of cable TV. The Great North is about a single father of a super wacky bunch of kids in Alaska. That does sound really good. A new animated show that I've seen recently that is a little bit more adult and again is a work of art is a show called Scavengers or The Scavengers. If you haven't seen it, lay ye eyeballs. It is very good. The Great North is another one suggested. Wait, what? I'm like a minute behind, but like, there's no way Rick and Morty is 10 years old already. Checks, guys, it's 11 years old. Yeah, how about that? Since I was a 15-year-old, I've been watching Rick and Morty. Thank you for fact checking me, Joe, because I was kind of like, that is true, right? That is true. I think it's pretty sure it's true. It's true. Yeah, how about that? 11 years. That's kind of wild. Rick and Morty still feels like such a new thing in the zeitgeist of our minds, but it is, getting up there. The writing is tight and funny, and the humor is way out there, but it's remarkable. And It's remarkably wholesome. And it's not cliched nice. The Great North. I'm trying to save it over and over again in my brain. Not the average North. The Great North. South Park and Simpsons caused an entire generation of kids to wake up and realize of American dream where being sold was false, incredibly important to the zeitgeist of the American culture. I completely agree with that. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I think all TV does that. All just the internet in general, all media, all art does that to culture. Rabbit, I've accidentally clicked on it on Hulu a ton of times, but never gave it a chance. I totally will at your recommendation. Bless the Great North. Go and check it out. You have been recommended. And Scavenger's Reign. It's not Scavengers, it's Scavenger's Reign. There are scenes in that show that will melt your brain. I have Hulu. I can watch it too. I've not turned on my TV in over a month. I think that's a good sign, if anything, that you haven't needed to. I cannot say the same. Jeez. That's super cool show. You must have been so busy. I didn't have cable until I moved out at 23 and didn't have internet until I was 17. You are 38 now, which means you had internet 20 years ago. So we got internet. You had internet like 2 years before me, technically, Dad. So I'll still call that a win for you, bro. So I take that as the highest praise. Did I miss some? Thank you, Doug. You said it better than I ever could. Love is true. The culture. There's only one daughter, and her closest confidant is her imaginary friend, Alanis Morissette, who lives in the Aurora Borealis. That sounds so cute. There's been a lot of imaginary friend media going on in our culture right now as well. I wonder what that means. I never had an imaginary friend. Did you? I never allowed myself such fascinations. I was very practical and very wants oriented. Right? One of my earliest memories is wanting a like little base of operations. I was like 5 years old, and I remember very clearly having this little hook, this little corner at the end of my dad's garden, and it had like a little wall built against that wall to make like a little box. And I remember having these wants about how I wanted it to look, how I wanted it to be finished, and what I wanted my little space to be like. And obviously I never got that. But in that way, I was preoccupied with how it could look better, how I could make it better for myself, how it was not to my liking just yet, but could be with some adjustments. And then on the other side, there was also this role playing in me as well. Like I saw myself in a certain way as a child. And I still do see myself in that way. And that way is from a place of self-confidence and believing that I am intelligent. And I'm saying this from the perspective of having been humbled by life and having realized that even though I do still consider myself intelligent, I am no Einstein, right? I'm not doing theoretical physics, and that's okay, right? I don't think doing theoretical physics would be good for me in that way, right? And I've realized what is good for me and what isn't good for me. And I think as a child, you don't really realize that there is good things to think about and bad things to think about. And I wonder if I was taught, or if I was just that way, you know, biologically, as a personality. I wonder how much goes into it. It would be lovely to do a group watch on Discord, if at all possible. Internet friends feel like imaginary friends sometimes. No, they're there, but they have no bodies, kind of. I think for now, they're kind of like that because we're interfacing with our internet friends in this plane, and it's like a bandwidth thing. The way that I want to have this space continue to evolve is for it eventually to become, a VR environment, and then we can find ourselves sitting in a circle here, and I can look at you in this space. Like I'm looking at this camera, I can make eye contact with you in this circle with us. And then there can be layers of circles where there can be a version of me technically sitting in that circle everywhere on all of those layers, but it can still be small enough for it to be a community feeling, not just a crowd kind of vibe. And then you could lean to the person next to you, one of your imaginary friends, right? If you want to call it that. And you can say something to them. Maybe you heard me say something and be like, I don't really agree with what Mel just said. And then you can be like, oh yeah, how is that? And then you can, if you wanted to, create like a whole new room. Where just you and that friend and then continue your discussion if you wanted to. Right? Wanted to sit down and watch a movie. Sit down and watch a South Park episode if you wanted to. That should be an experience you are allowed to have. But these things take time. And it's not going to be that far away, nonetheless. I think within the next 10 years, the space would have radically transformed. LA, I was just thinking about how I miss our songhas. I miss y'all's voices, and track Thursdays are hard for me to make it to. It's true. Thursdays is the one evening that I have a standing thing. Nick Offerman, the famous Ron Swanson, also grew up a town over from me. I used to work with his brother, who quit being a teacher of mathematics education at Yale to brew beer for a living. Yeah. Doing what's good for you, bro. Doing what's good for you. Realizing that there are some things that are better for you than other things. Duck. Have you read any of Nick Offerman's books? They're so good, especially like Paddle Your Own Canoe. I can imagine. His way of being is very attractive. I've had a bad habit of having imaginary relationships in my mind, arguing with my brother, problem solving with my friends, laughing with ones I'm fond of. We have a real relationship outside of this too, but there's a lot of stuff in this world that is imaginary that we do, in fact, manifest in the real world. I mean, maybe I was mistaken earlier when I mentioned that I didn't really have imaginary friends, because that is at least in my life how that imaginary aspect of being manifested. It very much was with me having this inner conversation with someone else, right? And maybe now that you have given me that context, again, with the perspective of me looking at my environment and thinking about the ways that I wanted it to be, it very much did manifest in that moment inside of me as me having this argument, having this conversation, having this battle of wit, this trying to convince my dad to actually spend the money that it would require to make this thing look the way that I want it to, or whatever, right? So, yeah, I think you might be right, Joe. Maybe that is how it manifested in my life. The mind is a powerful thing. Manifest the stuff that's good for you. Action follows energy. Energy follows thought. Thought is created. by us at will. We are divine creators. Syncing up in this moment with you. As I close my eyes, I see a psychedelic flower, but that keeps placing flowers on top of that flower. And it's placing so many flowers on top of that flower that they are getting smaller and smaller. And as they're getting smaller and smaller, the pile of flowers is also getting higher and higher and getting closer and closer to my field of vision. Yes. Yes, of course. Was your first internet 56K dial-up? 2 days, 2 LimeWire, an album to find out it was just recording of some dude's farts or worse. That does suck. That does sound like it sucks ass. No, it wasn't. I had 512 kilobits up and down. Internet was my very first internet. So still slow, but not 56 kilobits. I think my internet was like 10 times faster than yours. They are funny and wise. Think you'll like a lot of them. I have not read any of his books. I should. Think you would enjoy it. You have the same kind of like vibe as well. Haven't had a chance to be around much. I hope everyone is well. It's nice having you here, Fit. Good, Clean Fun is another great book. Bless. Fit. I have already stacked my Dynavap. I have some green sea. Green sea in here, and it's not C as in S-E-A, it's C as in C. Love is free. I'm adding heat. My intention is to take good care of myself. I do appreciate the way that tastes. Oh, thank you, Joe Bot. My membership just ran out last week. Love is true. Thank you, Louisiana, for thanking Jovan for being a member. I was looking at the chat like, where are all the flowers? Am I confused, or did Louisiana become a member again? Because she didn't have a flower in the previous ones, and then in that message. In that message, she does have one. This strain catches me off guard every time. It's very prominent. Like it creates almost like a high-pitched-ness in me. Did Jovan give memberships just now? They're not showing up on my device, if it did happen. But Bromley and Blanche says thanks for the membership as well. Jovan. Maybe it only showed people that got the membership. You are loved, John. I drank a beer last week that was called the Big C, but we had only heard the name until the late in the session, and we thought it was being called the Big C. We kept calling it a pint of cancer. No. Gavity Goose, you're too. Sugar Goodness, Joe Bot, thanks for the gifty gift. Jovan. Yeah, in that case, Jovan definitely did give memberships. Thank you, Jean. Hey, Bromley, how's you doing? I don't think I've seen Bromley and Blanche's usernames in chat before. It's nice seeing you now, dear friends. Thank you for the membership. Thank you, Fit, for joining. It's a dear pleasure having you friends here. While I have you, let me know which cards you want to have pulled from. I'll wait. The Sacred Geometry deck or the Oracle deck? Which one? Which one? You decide. The booty card. Why not both? I see Oracle, I see booty card. I think, statistically speaking, there should be more booties in this deck. Statistically. You know, my autism is really trying to make sense of it. Sacred Georacle! You know what? With that message, I cannot help myself. I'll have to pull one from each. Sam also suggested as much. Love is true. Sacred Georacle. That sounds so cool. That sounds cool. I want to be a Sacred Georacle. So, Melt, what do you do for a living? I Sacred Georacle. Okay. Who pays you for that? The universe. And crystals. Huh, okay. This guy's crazy. First, we'll do the sacred. We'll do the sacred card. I'm gonna pull the sacred card, not look at it. Pull a oracle card with the intention of telling the past, of the future, of what I'm going to reveal to myself, which was the sacred geometry card. Yes, this one. This one indeed. Do not rook. I'm going to point it away from myself. Yeah, it's still away from me. And then I'm gonna slide it here, in between reg. I wanna not point my camera towards it. You see, that's my field of vision. No seeing for myself. And now we pull from the other deck. Huzzah! Boobs at last! I mean, quite literally, if not for them, humanity would have ceased existing a long, long time ago. Such a very long, long time ago, and here we are. Huzzah! Gabby grows boobies. Huzzah! Are you doing it on purpose, Gab? I think so. You could use Geodude in those damn Pokemon, then take it first. That's true. Starts calling myself Geodude. Gets a cease and desist from Nintendo literally next day. Takes my house that I don't have. Waits for me to have a house so they can take it. My chest actually is growing from all of the weightlifting. Nice, bro. Growing chest is one of those things that does so much for you afterwards. Like, you'll just stand around and look good, bro, if you spend some time working in your chest. Georacle. Georacle is a great title, right? I think so as well. Like, Gobbledygoo, this still does technically count, but it is awkward at the same time. The card we pulled is Anna, grandmother of Jesus. Right? You ever think about that? That Jesus had to have had a grandmother, if there was such a thing as a Jesus. Right? I still believe that Jesus is supposed to be a psychological drama and communicating to every single person what is possible when you live from a place of Christ consciousness. But in that way, for that Christ consciousness to be born, we had to have had mothers and grandmothers seeding the light, laying the foundations of the past for us to be a part of this divine plan. In the Bible, Lois is Timothy's grandmother, and Anna is Jay's grandmother? Apparently. I don't know. I've never heard the name. Hey, I did it. Look at that, bro. Some feminine energy. And now we're gonna see together. That card is still pointing away from me. But is that the would be Jesus and John, the disciples' grandma. Anna would be Jesus and John, the disciples' grandma. There we go. Sam is letting us know. I did pull this card upside down. Ho'oponopono sunset. These two cards is a combination. So now again, I think I'm supposed to read what this card means first, before this one. My cousin's name is Timothy. I had no idea it was biblical name. Next you'll tell me Kevin and Chad is in there too. Chad. And God said unto Chad, you will be ridiculously hot. And you will mew so hard that people will swoon. It hurt me to say those words. I can't. I've gotten too old too quickly, it seems. It got away from me. The youngins. Timothy. I still read Timothy in these. I think it counts. I'm gonna start with Anna. Found it. One more time. Very cool, very trippy. Psychedelic, alright. There are towers on top of mountains. There are sphinxes and pyramids in front of planets with beautiful auric circles and clothing that drapes over reality. Geometries that beam down light onto all of the people that are standing amongst the river where flowers and greenery bloom. Yes. Now to read. Anna, grandmother of Jesus, was an ancient mystic who dedicated her life to laying the foundations for Christ consciousness to be woven through all of life. She is not widely known, but without her, Christ consciousness would not be rising as it is today. Anna represents the quiet dedication that is sometimes required to live a life of service. She represents the generations that came before that devoted their lives to dreaming a new world into being, while knowing that they would not see the glorious end result. She represents the dutiful soldier, the unconditional mother, and the mystic who can see the thread that is woven through all of life. Anna teaches us that we all have a part to play in the divine plan. It doesn't have to be on the world stage to be significant. One person's part is not worthier than another. One person's part may be to mother their children. Another's may be to gather women in a circle each month. No part is better or worse, more important or less significant. We each have within us a seed of light that we incarnated to share. Anna is gathering us to remember and to surrender to our part of the plan. Hold this card in your heart and say, Beloved Anna, thank you for laying the foundations for the divine plan. May the seeds of light within me be revealed, and may I surrender to my part of the divine plan. And now, for Ho'oponopono, dreaming a new world into being, manifesting. Hey, Joe. Siobhan was giving power to the whole manifestation of our imaginary worlds today. And this card's core meaning is harmony and right action. This card joins two powerful traditions from the Hindu Tantric tradition. Comes the geometry of the Sri Yantra. Its 9 interlocking triangles form a powerful meditation symbol that is said to encapsulate the entire universe in a single geometric visualization. From the ancient Huna tradition of Hawaii, Ho'oponopono is viewed as a means to bring harmony and be in right action with the ancestors, or to make things right with the people with whom you have relationships. Its intent is to correct the wrongs that have occurred in one's life. This card acknowledges your intent to create a life of freedom from guilt, shame, and blame. It asks you to meditate on the people and events in your life and to search for an understanding of what you need to know to bring them into harmony and right action. Seek harmony within yourself first, then open to communicating with others in a manner that will bring greater understanding and harmony to all. You may enjoy offering this sunset prayer. I forgive myself and all beings for any misthought word or action that occurred in this day. I acknowledge that the universe is unlimited potential and all is transpiring in perfect divine order in my life at this time. Do not blame others for what you have created. Meditate on the cause of your pain and then choose to release it. John, have you considered meditating on the cause of your pain and then releasing it?
I believe that I have done this before.
The card says must more, apparently. What is the cause of my pain? Expectations?
Lack of spatial awareness.
Expectations and lack of patience.
And lack of spatial awareness.
Lack of spatial awareness.
Injuring your toes all the time. Because you keep kicking everything.
My toes are fine though. Look, my toenails aren't even completely broken. I could be kicking things harder.
Because of my pain.
I am
break like basketball.
That was rough. But I have recovered. My nail was broken, but it has healed since. Like when I start moving to get to where I'm going, like the bottom plane of existence ceases to exist almost. And there was a brake that was used, it's still there I think, that was used to prop this door open. And that brick got like moved out of the way in the process of the door getting itself closed. And I opened the door, and with the momentum of moving forward, really drove through my kick of said brick. And you just hear that brick like pick up from the ground and then hit ground again and tumble. on tiles, brick on tiles.
And the other thing you hear is, yes, fuck!
Yes, you fuck! It was an inappropriate response, even though crude in that moment. and then you just see like the blood, and you're like, bro. And I'm like, I didn't have time for this. I have yoga. I literally have a yoga class to give right now. And I did. I got onto my yoga mat and I still give my
Fake
yoga
smile.
I didn't have to fake smile. I just gave my cues. The entire universe in 9 triangles. Maybe that's the meaning of life in 9 triangles. You hear that? You hear that? Christian?
Fuckle.
John, there you go, bro.
How about
Triangles.
How about 6 squares?
How about actually just triangles all the way up,
How
all the way
about
down?
10 circles?
The universe's guide to the galaxy came close to getting it right with the 9 times 3. Is that what he means? The 42. What are you doing, Merc? Gob. You may be onto something there. Hitchhiker Guy got most things right. It is really a fantastic book. It really did, especially about 42 being the answer to the question. I don't think I created my father's psychological abuse behaviors. No, probably not. But if, and this is again, this is the if, and like, feel free to call me out again. If it's still actively coming up in your mind, that is self-created. All right, because my dad has psychologically abused, but I try to not think about it, and I feel like again, that seems like a little bit of a bad solution to which is a problem, but it is a matter of how much energy and time am I going to spend thinking about that, as opposed to being grateful for the things that isn't that. Right? How can we be grateful for the parts of our dads that is good? How can we ignore the parts that isn't?
My case is easier.
John has life hacks, bro, or death hacks, maybe I should say. I shouldn't make jokes. This is fucked up. John has a very interesting fractal when it comes to the dad experience, and all of us get to be grateful. Get to be grateful for our dads. All right. Even if you don't have the best dad, for the parts that was good, grateful for those parts. So zoom in, zoom. Keep zooming, keep zooming. You see that like split second.
0.0.
That's zero. Bro. Yeah, it's not okay, but no. You don't want to eat that one. You don't want to eat that one. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, dude. There's a big cucaracha
Yeah.
that got doomed. So he got put in poisoned on, and then a lizard was like, "Oh wait, a free meal," and I don't want him to die.
Okay, did you take it away?
I did.
Oh, sorry. So you're apologizing as well, because in one sense you're taking its food.
I am taking its food, yeah, but
It's also his poison. Sorry, little lizard.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, dude. He's literally watching me like, what the fuck, bro? I'm so
Like-
sorry. You must be so confused right now. Like, I'm not gonna eat you at all. And now you're like, are you eating my food, bro? What the fuck, bro? I'm sorry, little lizard person. I didn't mean to scare him.
Did it give you a scoop?
Bro, like literally, I came out of that like pipe. I even turned sideways. They were like watching me, like, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? All right. Hitchhiker's Guide. Literally, first conversation I walked in. So I think I'm missing some context. Stepdad started, patient enough, it's just every time. Never too young to be exposed to Marvin's manic depression. Yeah, Marvin was quite a creature. I don't know if I can say he's my favorite. I like the idea of Marvin. Oh my heart. Thanks for Wizard love and melt warms my heart to see kindness like that as a reaction. Like the best part, Joe, is that was literally what I was worried about with that fractal as well, because like it's one of those big cockroaches, and I don't really want them procreating because it is getting warm again, and filling our house with themselves. So I was like, oh, bro, I don't want that. I don't think it would be good for my mental health or for the mental health of the people I share a home with if there were more of these cockroaches here. That lizard is looking for the cockroach I took from him. Look at him. There he is, or she is. And I knew that there might be a little lizard person that comes and looks for them. So I'm happy that I was at least here to pay attention. You're gonna find something to eat. I believe. You so got this. I think she's getting, or they're getting some sun as well. Some of that sideways action. Yeah. Lizard peoples. Mine was the 6-part BBC TV series at a sleepover as a kid. I never saw the TV series. I saw the movie, and then much later I listened to the entire book as an audiobook. And that was like my real experience with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I loved Aaron and Tigger as a baby, and yet I'm not bipolar. Working that one out. Yeah. Maybe you knew what's good for yourself. Alright. That you were drawn to those characters from a perspective of realizing that they don't know what's good for themselves, maybe. And you could learn from that experience. You could live vicariously through them and choose to not be as them. Right? Little lizard person. I don't even know if insecticide, is that what you call it, is harmful to lizards. Because I know it makes them die by collapsing their ion channels, taking essentially away their ability to exchange oxygen with the environment. And lizards do breathe air, like they actually suck air into their little lungs. Lizard has readjusted themselves to get more sunlight. And I'm gonna readjust myself to get none. It was nice to have you friends here with me. It was Sam. I rewatch it every year. Fit, are you volunteering to be psychological? To psychologically dissect and stream? That would be cool. Have you ever listened to the radio play, Mel? That's its original format. The book and TV show came after. Really? I didn't know that. No, I didn't see it in this original format. Oh, Jovan. Thank you. I've seen the movie. I wish I could see the BBC series or hear the radio plays. I mean, they should be somewhere online, I'm sure. Thank you, Jean, for blessing us with a goodbye message so we can say, I hope you have the most beautifulest day, everyone. Your for super duper mega ultra extra admired methodical mouth and all of you Totally trippy, realistically rad, respectfully responsible, and ultimately unstoppable. Fascinatingly foresighted, intuitively and true, intuitively integritious, 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 integritious. In I want to say it the right way. Intuitively integritious, honorably honest, powerfully peaceful, and divinely dutiful, amazingly authentic, wholesome, humanimal creatures, doing what is good. Doing what is good. Thank you, Xiao, for doing that for us. I appreciate you taking the time to send us a goodbye message. I love you, dear friends. Love me a good eggs Benedict. Yo, thanks for the Benedict. Love is true. I appreciate you, friends, for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody.